Welcome to the auto extrication demonstration. I'm Lieutenant Tony LaFave, LHS class of 1982.
Oh.
Lieutenant Long, firefighter Jeremy Murphy, firefighter Robert Griffin, firefighter Jose Carrera, and firefighter Erin Bailey. They're going to take care of the extrication to show you the tools that we use, and I'm going to go over the reasons why we use them. Everybody have a driver's license?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody doesn't.
I
So
don't.
listen, driving's a privilege. All right, you had to work hard to get it. It was given to you. But like everything else in life, there are consequences to your actions. You will be held accountable, whether legally, morally. So making poor decisions really can cause you problems the rest of your life. Whether it's a drunk driving accident, loss of life, you know, whoever's driving is responsible for the passengers in their car. That's just the way it is. So if you're fumbling with your phone, the radio, conversing with your buddies, or you've had too much to drink, you know, poor decisions. Now, as a parent, I had two daughters. If they were out at night having fun, and if they did have alcohol, the consequences of them trying to drive home were much worse than calling me to get them home. I think all parents would agree with that. There's still consequences to your actions, but you're safe, you're alive. And that's all the parents want. So if there's ever an issue where you're impaired, call a friend, call a parent, get yourself home safe. So this weekend, I guess the prom's coming up. We all want you to have a great time. Enjoy yourselves, but be safe. You've got a long life ahead of you. College, family, trades, whatever. You've got a lot to offer the world. By making a poor decision, that can alter everything. Your life, it will follow you your whole life.
Morning. Like Lieutenant LaFave said, as a parent, we all want you to be safe. We all want that phone call to come get you if you made a poor decision rather than try and drive. We go on accidents in Leominster every day. Every day we go into an accident. People aren't paying attention. They're texting on their phone. That's now become the biggest problem over drinking or smoking, driving impaired. So you got to be really careful. I've always told my kids, some of you know my kids, they were here not too long ago. You know, you got to be careful. Don't make a bad mistake that's going to follow you through the rest of your life. A lot of you are going to go on to college. That could affect what happens there. So don't make a dumb decision when you're trying to have fun. We're gonna show you how we're gonna get into a car when there is an accident. We've got the firefighters here that are gonna go over some of the tools, what happens. It's a very scary situation for whoever's in the car, whether it's the driver or passengers. We're gonna show you what we do, so just in case you'll have a little understanding of what's going on when we get there trying to get you out.
Okay, whether you flip the car, hit a telephone pole, anytime we have a word of entrapment, it's an engine company, the ladder crew, which carries the extrication devices, an ambulance, a paramedic ambulance, a deputy chief, to extricate you from the car. Now, of course, the car's not going to look this good. Telephone pole could be caved in on the driver, pushed up against the steering wheel, flipped over upside down in the water. So safety glass on the side. It's safety glass where you just punch a small area with a sharp object and it'll just shatter. Whereas the windshield has plastic between it, it'll just spider. We do that before we open the car up so we don't get showered with the glass. However, if you're the patient in there, we will try to get someone in the car with you to protect you, cover you with a blanket. They'll be talking with you, treating you. So with the Halligan tool, he's just making a slot so we can get the jaws of life in and pry the door open. While this is happening, the engine company will have a hose line because there's going to be gas on the road we don't want it to ignite. So it's going to be a hose line fully charged with water with firefighters on that to make sure the scene is safe. A lot of times we go to these calls, power lines are down, there are live wires on the ground, so it's about scene safety for us as well as you guys. As you can see, it takes teamwork to accomplish this task. All right? Normally they don't pop that easy when the door is crushed and there's a driver inside, because we got to watch out for you as well to not injure you further. Now, while this is happening, if we deem it's a lung extrication or severe injuries, we'll actually notify UMass Worcester and have the life flight helicopter en route to the scene. Sometimes they'll land right on the scene. Other times will meet us at the hospital. If you're involved in an accident with multiple trauma to your body, it's what they call the golden hour. From the time the incident happens, about an hour later, if we haven't done anything to extricate you from the car or give you definitive treatment, you will not live. It's just a test. Okay? So that golden hour is important for us to get you out and get you to a trauma center. So if you make a poor decision, the clock's running, okay? That's just statistics. It's not me making it up. You can look it up. Now, it's not always this quiet, too. You're going to have a lot of yelling. The equipment's going to be running. There's going to be a lot going on. The gentleman asked if we ever enter through the front windshield. Yes. If we have an overturned car, we'll actually show you in a second. He's going to do it right now. Special tools that will cut that windshield right out, and we can get access through there. So when we go to a scene, it's not always obvious where we're going to get in. We try to get to the fastest way, the safest way for both the patient and us. So it's basically a pair of power scissors. So in between the glass is a plastic sheet, so that windshield stays in one piece. So airbags only work really well if you wear your seatbelt too. Because the airbag comes out at over 200 miles an hour. And you can actually bounce off of that and hit the windshield. So it's important that you have your seatbelt on to keep you in the driver's position for the airbag to work appropriately. So they've cut the edges. Now they have these suction cups. They're going to pull it off. Any other questions? This young lady asked if the car was upside down, would it be easy to go through the windshield? As I said, it really depends. If you flip the car over and it's underwater, we're going to break anything to get you out fast. It depends upon the top of the car might be crushed in that we have to go in through the door. So when we get there, we'll look at each avenue and what's the best, safest, and quickest way to get you out.
So, as you can see, we wrecked the door off, and now because this car is nice and new,
It didn't get damaged. We could get the patient out, not a problem. But most of the time, when there's damage to the vehicle, the dashboard is going to be down a little bit. Your seat might have broken, might be forward a little bit. So your legs are usually an issue for us when we're getting you out. They're tangled up with the pedals. They're tangled up under the dash. So a lot of times, what we have to do, what they're doing right now is they're going to make a cut, and then they're going to be able to put the spreaders in and move the dashboard up off of the legs, so we would be able to get the legs out.
So while this is all happening, there'll be a firefighter in the car, maybe a paramedic assisting you, putting IVs into your arms to give you fluid if you're bleeding. Just inflicting your injuries, bandaging your injuries. So someone's going to be talking with you the whole time.
So they just cut away the A-post on the car. That's going to give us some room to roll that dash up.
Any other questions?
Good. Car's caved in. Yep. So if the cars, every accident's going to be different. That's why we love coming up and doing this stuff for you, because we get to work with our tools. But every car accident you go to is different. So if all that whole side was caved in, you need to go to the other side, and like you saw those tools work, we'll just cut the whole roof off. We can cut everything on that car that there is. So upside down, we could still do the doors just upside down and get you out that way. Did that before we're still going. Any other questions? Now, if there was passengers in the back and they can't get out, we'll cut the second door off. Very good question. So the question is, what if we hurt the person inside while we're doing all this? Well, our first goal, right, would not be to make any more, injuries to the person that's in the vehicle. However, that is an issue. So, like Lieutenant LaFave said earlier, we would have someone in the car immediately. These guys, Aaron and Jose, work on the ambulance. So normally, it's just going to be the ladder crew that's doing all this work. One of them would jump in the car with the patient, provided we could get him in. We would have put like a blanket over him to make sure that, when we took the glass out, none of that got on him. And then when we're trying to get the door off, if it was, depending on how bad it was damaged, if we were impinging on them more, we would have to do it differently. So that's always a concern of ours. So we have to, someone like myself would be watching over what's going on while they're doing it. And if the door's going in more than it should be, we could take that rear door off, break the seat, and then get them out that way, like what they're going to do right now. Any other questions while we're doing it? What's that? Right here? No, we don't do anything else. Yes. With the copy to me? They direct traffic for us. I don't want to be a cop, I want to be a fire truck. Look at all the fun they have. They would, they're all, most of them, they're first responders and stuff like that. So they get on the scene first, they might get tended to the patient. But once we get there, they kind of get out of our way, make sure the traffic's stopped, and we can do our thing. Any questions? More questions? Yeah? No? So they're working on that rear door. Like the question before, if we couldn't pop that front door, if it was going to cause more damage, we'd have to go to the rear door to get the patient out. Which does happen from time to time. No questions? Questions? Yes, sir. Sure. So what you're doing right now, by taking that rear door off, if we weren't able to get the front door off, and it was the driver, we would have to go through the rear. We would break the back of that seat, and we've got backboards and things like that we can get in. Either bring the patient out the back door, or we could cut that hatch right off and go right out the back. Depending on what they're up against, how much damage is to the car, sometimes it's against the pole. Sometimes it's against the pole, a tree, something like that. So there's always something that's wrong that we can't get in, like we're doing today, where it's nice and easy.
Okay, say for instance, you made a poor decision. Listen up, guys. You made a poor decision. Made a poor decision. You're driving, and three of your buddies are in it, you had too much to drink, and all four of you are trapped in the vehicle. Who do we decide who gets out first? It has to do with who's injured the most, and who we have easier access to. By getting someone else that may not be as injured as bad, gives us hope to help the others. Okay? Guys, gotta stay focused on this. This is real. So if you do make a poor decision, right? You're driving down Elm Street with your buddies. No, we got this. Right? Flip off the tree, flip over, middle of the night. Who's to say when's the next car going to come by to find you? Think about that. Not too much traffic out there anymore. Okay? You alone as the driver have made a poor decision to drive. You will be charged through the court system. You'll have that on your mind and your conscience the rest of your life, that maybe one of your friends did not survive the crash, but you are responsible for that. So you decided to drive. Or tax. It happens, guys. You don't think it's going to happen because you feel you're involved. The reality is the numbers don't lie. Pay attention, driving's a privilege. You're going to be adults now, so you'll be charged accordingly.
Okay, so what they're doing now is if we can't, we couldn't get in from the doors, we couldn't get you out, we still had problems, you got tossed around a little bit maybe, weren't wearing your seatbelt. Depending on your injuries, you might have a broken leg, things like that, that's making it hard for us to get out. We can take those tools and we can bring that whole roof right off, and that would be good. None of your room. It's pretty hard. So the tools we're using today are battery operated. So you saw them just have to replace the batteries. We keep extra batteries in the truck that are always plugged in. Today, having these tools is nice because they're easier to maneuver being battery operated. Years ago, they were hooked up to hoses, they were hydraulic. You had to take the wheel off the truck, so we had to get the truck close to it, as close as we could. Today, these tools are much better. You can move around a lot quicker. Excellent, truck. Excellent. So anybody here want to join the fire department? Get the cars apart? One, that's it? There's one cop, one firefighter, that's it? Everyone else wants to make money. I don't blame you. You can't do both.
Yes, she looks familiar.
Dangerous would be if
especially when there's kids. So the question was, what's the most dangerous situation for us? Dangerous for us is going into the fires, but when it comes to extrication and accidents, what bothers us the most is when it's an accident with you guys, with kids. That's, you know, that hits home with us. You know, a lot of us have families, we're mothers and fathers, we've got kids, and nobody likes to see kids get hurt. So, you know, even if we get you out, it still stays with us, especially if we know one of you. Heaven forbid someone dies in an accident. You know, we've got to live with that as well. So those are all things that come into play while we're doing this. Good question. So while they're doing this, always remember, our biggest problem is you guys texting. Texting causes the most accidents. Everyone's got cell phones. Everyone's on them while they're driving. You can tell, you can look in the car, you can see when someone's not paying attention to the road. They're looking down at their phone. Don't forget, this whole time that we're trying to get the person out, someone's going to be in there with them, comforting them, putting a blanket over them so they don't get the glass on them. The ambulance will be standing by, waiting to go.
Yeah. Same one I got.
Any other questions while we're waiting to peel that roof back? Okay, so if there's smoke coming from the car, we would always have an engine company respond with us. Engine company has water. They would deploy a hose line. They would be working on that while we're using the covers to get you out. Depending on what their injuries are, right? Might not be life-threatening, hopefully. If it is life-threatening, this is kind of familiar for us too, so if it's a dire emergency, we're going to get you out. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Sure. You're Subaru fan? Subaru fan? And just like that, we've got the roof off. Now we've got access to the whole car, so no matter who's in there, pretty sure we can get them out now. eBay? Craigslist? Any questions as to what's going on?
All right, one last thing. Hold up. Hold up. I just want to thank the fire department for coming out here today. They took time out of their schedule. The other thing I want to say, and I said it inside when we had the speaker, it's a celebratory time. And when I say that our entire community is rooting for a safe couple of weeks and then beyond, I mean that. We have a great relationship with the police department, the fire department, obviously today, and the volunteer speaker that we had this morning. So let's make sure we make great choices in the next couple of weeks and really enjoy graduation and prom. Okay? Thank you. I want to thank the fire department for coming up. All right, we are headed back in. All right, what time is it?